The year is 1855. A cold mist clings to the marble spires of Londinium Aegyptiaca. This is not the city you know. This is not the history you were taught. This world's heart does not beat in Rome. It pulses from Alexandria, the eternal capital of an imperium that never fell. An empire born from a single, impossible choice. A man stands guard on the edge of a sky platform. He is a centurion of the 9th Horus Legion. His armor is familiar, the layered plates of Lorica segmentata, but it is forged from a dark, iridescent metal. His helmet is not crested with horsehair, but with the stylized head of a falcon god. He feels a silent hum in the base of his skull. A command, not spoken, but imprinted. A directive from the serpent throne, 2,000 miles away. It is an order to protect a truth that, if revealed, would burn this perfect world to ash. Because this reality was built on a lie. To understand the world that is, we must return to the moment it was forged, the Battle of Actium, 31 BCE. In our history, it was the end of a queen's dream. The final, desperate gamble of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. A catastrophic defeat, but time is not a straight line. It is a river that can be diverted. In this timeline, her retreat was not an act of cowardice. It was the opening move in a war fought not with ships, but with knowledge. A feint designed to draw her true enemy into a meticulously crafted trap. Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus, a brilliant general, but a man shackled by superstition, a man who saw omens in every shadow. Cleopatra's agents, embedded deep within his camp, had spent months cultivating his fears. They fed him false prophecies from captured priests, engineered celestial omens, and whispered of curses laid upon the Egyptian royal treasury. They told him a direct pursuit would anger the gods and guarantee his doom. He hesitates. For only a moment, but a moment is all history needs. That hesitation shatters his fleet's momentum. Antony's forces, sensing the shift, press their advantage. The battle becomes a meat grinder. Octavian wins, but it is a hollow, devastating victory. His navy is crippled, his legions exhausted. He has won the battle, but Cleopatra has won the war. She escapes with Antony, her fleet, and the vast, unimaginable wealth of Egypt intact. Weeks later, Octavian stands before the gates of Alexandria. He expects a city bracing for a siege, defiant and doomed. The gates are open. No soldiers line the walls. There is only a single figure, standing at the end of the grand colonnade. Cleopatra. She is not dressed as a queen begging for her life. She is dressed as the goddess Isis, and in her hand she holds a papyrus scroll, the secret that will break the Roman Republic and build an empire of gods. Octavian enters the city, his praetorian guard a tense sea of steel around him. He is led not to a throne room, but to the great library, its halls impossibly vast and filled with the knowledge of ages. There, Cleopatra makes her offer. It is not a plea for mercy. It is a checkmate. The scroll contains undeniable proof, meticulously gathered intelligence, detailing a vast conspiracy against him. His own general, Agrippa, along with a third of the Senate, planned to assassinate him upon his triumphant return to Rome and restore the old oligarchic republic. They saw him as another tyrant in the making, another Caesar. Cleopatra lays out the choice. He can destroy her, return to Rome, and face a guaranteed bloody civil war that will rip his life's work apart. Or he can join her, unite their bloodlines, merge Rome's military might with Egypt's wealth and ancient wisdom, move the heart of the world to Alexandria, the true center of civilization. They will not be consuls or kings. They will be living gods, and their children will inherit the world. Octavian, the supreme pragmatist, the man who would stop at nothing to secure his legacy, sees the cold, inescapable logic. He accepts. The Roman Republic dies not with a bang, but with a vow. The dual imperium is born. Its capital is Alexandria. Its rulers, a new kind of royalty, the serpent's throne. The first century of the new dynasty is a whirlwind of syncretism. Roman legions, now bearing the Eye of Horus on their standards, march east, conquering Persia with ruthless efficiency. Egyptian bureaucracy, perfected over millennia, is applied to the vast territories of the imperium, creating a system of taxation and control of unparalleled stability. But the true merger happens in the realm of belief. The dynasty elevates the cult of Isis, intertwining her mythology with Venus, creating a powerful state religion centered on the divine feminine and the sanctity of the ruling bloodline. This is the origin of their magic. It is not sorcery, it is a science of the soul. They rediscover and weaponize knowledge lost to our timeline. The acoustics of architecture, using resonant frequencies in temples to inspire divine awe or crippling fear in entire crowds. Advanced chemistry, using psychoactive compounds from Nile flora to create oracles whose prophecies are eerily accurate because they are guided by the Imperium's own vast intelligence network. Astronomy so precise it borders on precognition, allowing them to predict and exploit natural events. They do not command the supernatural. They have simply mastered the natural to a supernatural degree. For 2 centuries, the Imperium knows only peace and expansion, a golden age of unparalleled prosperity. But this perfect system creates a new kind of human, disciplined as a Roman, spiritual as an Egyptian, and more intelligent than both. And from this new humanity, a threat emerges, not from beyond the borders, but from the deepest shadows within the Imperium's own libraries. They are the children of Thoth, and they have learned to wield the dynasty's own weapons against it. This is the Imperium at its apex. The God Emperor, a distant descendant of Cleopatra and Octavian, rules from the serpent throne. It is not merely a chair of gold and jewels. It is a psycho-resonant amplifier, a device that allows the emperor's will to be felt as a subtle pressure on the mind by every governor in every province across the globe through a network of resonant obelisks. Humanity lives in a gilded cage. There is no war, no famine, no dissent, but there is also no art that is not state-sanctioned, no philosophy that does not reinforce the divinity of the throne, no new ideas. The price of perfect order is the death of the individual soul. But you can't erase an idea. You can only hide it. In the shadows, the children of Thoth have spent generations preserving the forbidden knowledge. The truth of the fallen republic, the philosophies of Plato, the histories of Tacitus, the very concept of democracy. They are a secret university, a rebellion of the mind. Cassian uncovers a text that changes everything. A secret, personal diary of one of Octavian's original guardsmen. It details the meeting in Alexandria, not as a willing merger, but as a masterful act of psychological blackmail. The god emperors are not divine. Their entire lineage is built on a foundation of fear and lies. This truth becomes his weapon. He connects with the leadership of the children of Thoth and learns of their audacious plan, the Great Unveiling. They will not use swords or armies. They will use the Imperium's own control system against it. They have found a way to hijack the obelisk network, to reverse the flow of information. For 1 minute, they will broadcast not the emperor's will, but the truth of their history, directly into the mind of every man, woman, and child in the Imperium. The appointed day, the final hour. The air crackles with energy as they prepare to initiate the broadcast. The fate of their reality hangs in the balance. As Cassian reaches for the final activation lever, a shadow detaches itself from the far wall. A figure emerges, clad in the silent, black robes of an imperial inquisitor. In his hand, he holds a staff that emits a low hum, a psionic dampener that makes their thoughts feel sluggish and heavy. They are frozen in shock. It's a trap. Their entire rebellion, every secret meeting, every coded message was known. But how? Who could have possibly betrayed them? The Inquisitor takes another step into the light, his voice echoing in the chamber, not with menace, but with a strange, weary patience. "You were not betrayed," he says, his voice a calm whisper that cuts through their panic. "You were permitted." The ultimate twist is revealed. The trap was not for the rebellion. It was for the Imperium itself. The God Emperor, the final product of this long, unbroken line, had come to the same conclusion as the rebels. His empire was perfect, beautiful, and stagnant. A flawless diamond, but one that could be shattered by a single, sharp blow. It had lost the ability to adapt, to evolve. He knew that for humanity to survive, the gilded cage had to be broken. But he could not be the one to do it. The system was too rigid, so he allowed the children of Thoth to flourish. He secretly nurtured their rebellion, leading them to the very tools they needed. He orchestrated a controlled demolition of his own divinity. "The future is not written, historian," the Inquisitor says. "It is time to write it." With a trembling hand, Cassian throws the lever. A wave of pure energy surges up the obelisk. The truth, the lie of Actium, the manufactured divinity, the centuries of manipulation. It floods the consciousness of every human on the planet. For a moment, there is a global, silent scream. Then, chaos, riots, revolutions. The old order crumbles, but it does not die. It is a violent, painful, but ultimately fertile rebirth. A new renaissance, but on a global scale. The children of Thoth emerge from the shadows, not as rulers, but as guides, helping to build new societies that balance the Imperium's gift for order with humanity's rediscovered need for freedom. Our final shot lands on the statue he is guarding. It is of Cleopatra, not as a goddess, but as a woman. The inscription at its base reads, "The Great Architect." The hum he feels in his mind is not a command from a distant emperor. It is a shared memory, a daily broadcast of their complex history, a reminder of the lie that built their world, and the truth that set it free. This world never had an industrial revolution, a world war, or the internet. Their technology evolved along a different path: psychic resonance, bioengineering, and gravitational manipulation. It is a world without nations, only cultural zones, bound by a shared consciousness. Was it a better path, a worse one, or just a different current in the river of time? The answer remains, as always, in the shadows of what might have been. The timelines are infinite. The turning points are everywhere. If you crave more journeys into alternate realities and wish to challenge the history you know, then subscribe to ChronoShift. The past is never as past as you think,